What if I told you that the most addictive relationship dynamic in the world isn't based on love, but on two people desperately trying to heal childhood wounds that perfectly trigger each other? By the end of this video, you'll understand why 68% of failed relationships follow the exact same pattern, and how breaking free from the anxious avoidant trap can finally give you the love you've been searching for. It's 1:47 a.m. on a Saturday night in Chicago. The apartment is dark except for the blue glow of a phone screen illuminating Maya's face as she stares at an unread text message from 3 hours ago. Had a great time tonight, getting some space to think. Talk soon. Maya's thumb hovers over the keyboard, having typed and deleted at least 15 different responses. Her heart is racing, her mind spiraling through every moment of their evening together, searching for clues about what went wrong. Getting space to think? What does that even mean? We had an amazing night. He was laughing at my jokes, holding my hand, kissing me goodnight. And now he needs space? From what? Maya and Jake have been in this dance for 8 months now. It's intoxicating and exhausting in equal measure. Jake is everything she thought she wanted. Successful, intelligent, devastatingly charming when he wants to be. But he's also maddeningly inconsistent. One week he's calling her every day, planning romantic getaways, talking about their future together. The next week, he's pulling back, needing space to process, becoming mysteriously busy with work or friends. And Maya can't stop chasing. Every time Jake pulls away, Maya's anxiety skyrockets. She becomes hypervigilant, analyzing every text for hidden meanings, replaying conversations for signs of rejection. She finds herself doing things she swore she'd never do, checking if he's been active on social media, driving past his apartment to see if his car is there, crafting casual messages designed to get his attention without seeming desperate. "I'm not usually like this," she whispers to her empty apartment, finally setting the phone face down on her nightstand. "I'm independent. I'm successful. I don't chase men." But with Jake, she's become someone she doesn't recognize. Someone needy and insecure, constantly seeking reassurance that she's worthy of love. The more she pursues, the more he withdraws. The more he withdraws, the more she pursues. It's a cycle that feels impossible to break, partly because when Jake does come back, and he always does, the relief and joy are so intense that Maya forgets all about her pain. Across town, Jake is lying in his own bed, staring at his own ceiling, equally tormented, but for completely different reasons. The breaking point comes on a Tuesday afternoon that starts innocently enough. Maya is at work trying to focus on a presentation when her phone buzzes with a text from Jake. "Can we talk tonight? Something important." Her stomach drops. In 8 months of dating, something important has never been good news. She spends the rest of the day spiraling, unable to concentrate, her mind racing through every possible scenario. Is he breaking up with her? Has he met someone else? Did she do something wrong at dinner last weekend? By 6 p.m. she's worked herself into such a state of anxiety that she can barely breathe. When Jake arrives at her apartment, she's pacing by the window, having changed outfits 3 times. "Maya, we need to talk about us," Jake says, and she can see the familiar walls going up behind his eyes. "I've been thinking a lot lately, and I feel like I'm losing myself in this relationship. Every time we get close, I start feeling trapped. Not because of anything you're doing," he adds quickly, seeing her face crumble. "It's me. I need more space than you need closeness." Maya feels like she's been punched in the chest. "What does that mean exactly?" "It means maybe we should take a break, figure out what we really want." "A break?" Maya's voice rises despite her efforts to stay calm. "Jake, we've been taking breaks for 8 months. You get close. You run away. I chase. You come back. I can't do this anymore." "I'm not running away," Jake says, but even as he says it, he's already moving toward the door. "I just need to think." "You always need to think. When do you ever just feel?" Jake stops moving, his hand on the doorknob. For a moment, something vulnerable flickers across his face. "Feeling is dangerous, Maya. Feeling gets you hurt." And there it is, Maya realizes. The real Jake, the one he keeps hidden behind all the charm and success and careful distance. After Jake leaves, Maya does something she's never done before. Instead of texting him, instead of trying to fix things, instead of chasing, she calls her therapist and schedules an emergency session. "Tell me about your parents?" Dr. Rodriguez says the next day, settling into her chair with a cup of tea. "My parents? What do they have to do with Jake? Humor me. What was love like in your house growing up?" Maya thinks for a moment. Complicated. My mom was always anxious about my dad leaving for business trips. She'd get clingy and emotional, and he'd get distant and irritated. The more she needed reassurance, the more he'd withdraw into work or sports or anything that wasn't her neediness. Dr. Rodriguez nods. And how did that make you feel as a child? Scared. Like love was something you had to fight for. Like if you weren't vigilant, if you didn't try hard enough, the person you loved would disappear. And Jake? What do you know about his childhood? Maya pauses, realizing she actually knows very little. He doesn't talk about it much. His parents divorced when he was young. His mom was unstable, I think. Lots of drama and emotional outbursts. His dad basically checked out emotionally after that. Maya? Dr. Rodriguez says gently. Have you ever heard of anxious and avoidant attachment styles? 2 weeks later, Maya is sitting in a bookstore cafe with Attached by Amir Levine open in front of her, a highlighter in her hand, and her mind completely blown. Everything is suddenly making perfect sense. She reads about anxious attachment, people who crave intimacy but fear abandonment, who become hypervigilant about their partner's moods and behaviors, who pursue when others withdraw. The description fits her perfectly with Jake, though she's never been this way with secure partners. Then she reads about avoidant attachment, people who desire love but fear engulfment, who withdraw when others get too close, who mistake independence for strength and emotional distance for safety. Jake's entire personality is laid out on the page. Oh my God, she whispers, highlighting another passage. We're not in love. We're triggering each other's deepest wounds. The book explains the anxious avoidant trap. Anxiously attached people are drawn to avoidant partners because the inconsistent attention mirrors their childhood experience and feels familiar. Avoidant partners are drawn to anxious ones because the pursuit validates their desirability without requiring true intimacy. But here's the part that really gets her. Both styles developed as survival strategies in childhood. Maya learned that love required vigilance and effort because her mother's anxiety taught her that relationships were fragile things that needed constant tending. Jake learned that emotional needs were dangerous because his mother's emotional instability and his father's withdrawal taught him that feelings led to chaos and abandonment. They're both just trying to protect themselves, but their protection strategies are perfectly designed to wound each other. Maya's phone buzzes. It's Jake. I miss you. Can we try again? For 8 months, this text would have filled her with relief and joy. This time she feels something different. Clarity. She calls him. Jake, I miss you too, but I need to tell you something I've learned about us. They meet at the coffee shop where they had their first date, but this time, Maya isn't anxiously trying to read his mood or desperately hoping for reassurance. This time she's calm. I've been learning about attachment styles, she begins, and I think I understand what's been happening with us. She explains anxious and avoidant attachment, watching Jake's face as recognition dawns. So what you're saying is, I'm not just an asshole who can't commit? Maya laughs. You're not an asshole. You're someone who learned very early that emotional closeness was dangerous. And I'm someone who learned that love required constant vigilance. We've been stuck in a dance where my anxiety triggers your need for space, and your withdrawal triggers my need for closeness. So what do? Jake asks, and for the first time in months, he's not pulling away from the conversation. I think, Maya says carefully, we both need to work on becoming more secure before we can be good for each other. I need to learn that real love doesn't require me to chase it. And you need to learn that intimacy doesn't have to mean losing yourself. 6 months later, Maya and Jake are not together, but they're both in therapy, working on their attachment wounds, learning to show up differently in relationships. Maya is dating a securely attached man named David who doesn't trigger her anxiety because his love is consistent and reliable. Jake is taking time to be single, learning to tolerate his own feelings without running from them. Sometimes they text, friendly check-ins that would have been impossible during their anxious avoidant cycle. There's no charge to their interactions now, no hidden agenda or desperate need. Just two people who recognize they were never right for each other, but who helped each other understand something crucial about love. Here's what Maya learned that changed everything. You can't heal your attachment wounds by finding someone whose wounds perfectly complement yours. Anxious avoidant relationships feel intense because they're constantly triggering childhood pain, and we mistake that familiar suffering for passion. Real love doesn't make you anxious. It doesn't make you feel like you have to chase or perform or prove your worth. Real love feels like safety, consistency, and being accepted for who you are, not who you become when you're trying to earn affection. If you recognized your relationship in Maya and Jake's story, if you found yourself in that exhausting dance of pursuing and withdrawing, of intense highs followed by devastating lows, you're not alone. The anxious avoidant trap is one of the most common relationship patterns, and it's also one of the most addictive. But understanding your attachment style isn't just about labeling yourself. It's about recognizing that your relationship patterns were formed in childhood as survival strategies, and they can be changed with awareness and effort. Hit that subscribe button right now, because in our next video, we're diving deep into how to develop secure attachment as an adult, including specific techniques for managing anxiety, building emotional tolerance, and choosing partners who can actually meet your needs instead of just triggering your familiar wounds. Here's your homework. Think about your relationship history. Do you see patterns? Are you consistently attracted to people who are emotionally unavailable? Do you find yourself becoming someone you don't like when you're in relationships, either too needy or too distant? Drop a comment below and tell me, are you more anxious or avoidant in relationships? And be honest about what that looks like for you. The more we talk openly about these patterns, the less power they have over us. If you're currently in an anxious avoidant relationship, I want you to know that love shouldn't feel like an emotional roller coaster. You shouldn't have to chase someone's affection or constantly prove your worth. And you shouldn't feel like you have to shut down emotionally to maintain your independence. You deserve a love that feels secure, consistent, and easy to receive. Not because it's boring, but because it's real. The anxious avoidant trap is seductive because it feels like passion. But passion and anxiety aren't the same thing. Neither are independence and emotional unavailability. Real love feels like coming home to yourself, not losing yourself. And that's available to you, regardless of how you were loved as a child. Your attachment style is not your destiny. It's your starting point.